Fáilte Over Cóide, you welcome indeed to another edition of the programme. Well, this week we're off to the movies at Mayo Movie World in Castlebar for the premiere of the much acclaimed film The Banshees of Inisherin.
Colin's sonny Larry. Didn't you and he used to be the best of friends?
We're still the best of friends.
No, you're not.
Who says we're not? Sit somewhere else. Now, if I've done something to you, just tell me what I've done to you.
When you didn't do anything to me. I just don't like you no more.
In all the years I've been here, this is the first film that we can say is genuinely got the local feel to it. It is going to show Mayo off to its very, very best, and I'm hoping that between the spectacular scenery that's going to be on display and everything else that is in the film, which is supposed to be very, very good, that we're going to be in for a nice film that's going to have a good run in Mayo Movie World.
Yeah. What are the indications so far about the movie here now?
Well, the pre-booking figures are quite well happening at the moment, so we're pleased with that, and it looks like we're going to have crowds every night of the week this week.
The fact that it's getting rave reviews and 4 and 5 stars, does that make a difference for people coming to see a film?
Well, of course, it raises the curiosity factor, and of course the fact, and just add in the Mayo factor into that, and of course hopefully we're going to get more people, and people possibly that haven't been with us for quite a while.
And tell me about this evening now.
Well, we have Achill Tourism in the house, and in association with Mayo County Council, and we are running the first screening of it in Mayo, especially for them and their invited guests, and then we are showing it in another screen as usual for our regular customers.
People didn't really realise the size or the enormity of what this was going to bring. Achill Island, there are lots of films being made there all the time, but we quickly understood that it was going to be massive when we seen the booking order that came in through Achill Tourism. A lady by the name of Mary Friel Scott was looking for 180 beds for 3 months, and alarm bells went off. We weren't long getting to the end of her email and finding out exactly what was going on. So that came, I suppose, in the February of 2021, and they were very secretive, no more than yourself when you're making your films. They didn't want anybody to know what was happening, and then bit by bit we were drip fed, and the amount of money and now exposure it has brought to the island has been unreal.
Now, there's some lovely locations used for the film on the island, and I know that they scouted the whole of Ireland for a lovely little harbour, fishing village harbour, from Donegal down to Cork, and they came across this beautiful one in Portine in Achill Island.
Yeah, well, Portine is iconic. If you see it, it has been the home of the bass and shark fishing back in the 60s, 70s, and it's still a working harbour. They did see it, but what happened to it, it's unrecognisable when you see it on the screen. That's where their shops are, that's where the harbour is, where they're coming in and out of the mainland, and they just transformed it. If you were down there when they were filming, you'd see houses that are built on top of sheds with smoke coming out of them, and all that's been removed now. But Hollywood is Hollywood, and we didn't realise how big Hollywood was until they came to Achill. They took a field over, a 1 acre field, and they filled it with RVs for the stars, for makeup and hairdressers, and you name it, was all in this one particular site at unit base. So,
and what was it like for a lot of leading actors and that, and people in the movie with the local people? Did they mix with the local people?
With the locals, there was just interaction. Colin Farrell would be out and around and doing his runs, and Brendan Gleeson would be in Mulranny and he would be having his pints, and nobody really put to them or from them, and that's what the criteria we were told to, keep their distance. But we're used to stars in Achill. We are stars, some of us, so we're used to it. We don't interfere with them. Yeah.
This evening is a celebration of the fact that such a high value production with such huge A-listers saw
Joanne, you joined us on the red carpet here for this special screening for the Banshee of Inisherin. A great night here in Mayo.
Oh, a fabulous night, Henry, and I'm so excited to be here. It is just wonderful for County Mayo. How often do we have an opportunity to celebrate such fabulous creativity and innovation in film here in Mayo. It's wonderful, and I'm thrilled to be here this evening.
And indeed, the spectacular scenery alone has to be a great attraction to entice people to come here to the west of Ireland.
It really is, and already we've seen phenomenal publicity around this film, where Tourism Ireland they're working with a production company and producing a number of video clips to showcase the beauty of Ireland, and particularly the west coast of Ireland, and in very particularly Achill. And they are actually promoting it as the most beautiful place on earth. And I think Martin McDonagh said it best when he said that what he tried to do was make possibly the most beautiful Irish film he could. And I think that he has certainly delivered that. And, a 15-minute standing ovation in Venice. That's phenomenal. So I'm really, really excited.
And I hear a lot of talk about an Oscar now, for a couple of Oscars for the movie.
There really is, isn't it? It's incredible. And if this were to get an Oscar, and I have no doubt that it will be very much in the frame, then I do believe that we will see a massive upsurge because of the level of exposure that this film is having internationally. So, yeah, very excited community in Achill, very excited people in Mayo, and, great credit to everybody too in Achill, and great credit to Achill Tourism, who were instrumental in supporting the crew on the shoot over the 26 days that they were filming here in Mayo. And of course, that means that there was an economic spin-off. So certainly from a Mayo County Council perspective, we're very proud of the Achill community, and we're very proud of our own film Mayo.ie, which seeks to support attracting productions such as this into the county.
This time last year, we were in the height of filming it, and there were the production crew and all of their team and the support team was here for 6 weeks. The value of that was worth 1.5 million to the local economy. Absolutely huge. There was another film being produced as well at the same time, so the two films were running concurrently in Achill Island, and they were absolutely huge for the local economy. It was a real boom. So that was the first start of it, but now, it's been launched here tonight at Mayo Movie World, and we're all delighted to be here, and it's going to be on every cinema screen across the country and internationally. So, it's going to really put Achill and Mayo on the tourism map, and the beautiful landscapes that we have and that we have available will be showcased as part of the production and part of the film.
And then finally, can I just ask you, can Mayo Tourism build on these movies now and the fact that they're being filmed here in the county?
Yes, absolutely. I see it as a huge opportunity. Mayo will become an enabler to attract filmmakers and film industry into the county. We've the first step with a couple of these high-end productions, and it's great to be here. But not alone that, I think there's an opportunity to build a tourist trail on the back of all of the various sites where a lot of the movies were shot. So again, like in Achill, those 5 key locations. So we're talking to Achill Tourism at the moment, and we're looking at to see how can we further develop that experience and make it part of the tourist trail in Achill Island and for Clew Bay and for Mayo.
Looking forward to watching the movie tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. This is my first glimpse of it. I'm really excited about it, so really looking forward to it, and really looking forward to seeing Mayo and our wonderful landscape as part of the whole production.
And each time you bother me, I'll take one of my fingers off with them. Starting from now. But shush like, Polly. Shush like.
Henry, I seen the open casting call for extras a couple of months before the film came to Achill, and I just took a couple of headshots and with my phone and emailed them in. So I heard back from the extras manager a couple of months later just to see if I was available on the dates, and of course I was. So huge opportunity, once in a lifetime, to be part of such a huge and epic film shot in lovely Achill.
And what did you have to do?
We were just cast as extras, so in the background of all the shots walking through the village and all the sets that they have used. There was different angles shot, and then they'd reset, and you'd have to walk in a different direction for the next scene, or just stand in the one place. So it was very exciting and really interesting to see how they'd done it behind the scenes. Yeah.
And did you get a chance to meet any of the actors?
I certainly did. I was lucky enough to be asked to sit beside Brendan Gleeson in a church scene in the movie. So I was very nervous because obviously, he's a big star. So I got to sit beside Brendan, and John Kenny and Pat Short were in the seat in front, and then Colin Farrell was in the seat in front of that. So I was used before lunch, and then they broke for lunch, and they said to remember where I was sitting after lunch. So of course I was going to remember. So because we weren't allowed our phones on the set, I thought, right, I'm going to have to mark this somehow. So in the extras canteen, they had a beautiful selection of foods, including breakfast. So I happened to rip a box of cereal, it happened to be a cornflake box, and I shoved it into my boot that I was wearing. And I asked the bus driver, did he have any extra pens on board? So he gave me one of his biros. So after lunch I got my chance and I asked Brendan Gleeson could I get his autograph. So he was like, oh, of course you can, yeah, no problem at all. And he asked John Kenny and Pat Short would they sign it as well. So they all did, and then they shot a couple of extra scenes, and then I said to him, I wonder would Colin Farrell mind if I got his autograph, because he's a huge star and we've loved him for years. So he asked Colin, and Colin started roaring laughing. He said in all his years of signing autographs he's never signed a cornflake box, and he goes, I hope it's a crunchy nut cornflake box. So I didn't know what to say. I was so delighted and mortified at the same time. So I have the autographed back of the cornflake box at home in a frame. So yeah, I'm delighted.
Why aren't you talking to Porrig no more?
That wouldn't be a sin now, would it, Father?
No, but it's not very nice either, is it?
It's about one boring man leaving another man alone.
One boring man. You're all fucking boring.
Let's just call it quits.
We won't call it quits. We'll call it the start.
Film Mayo, which you're very involved with, played a major part in this very successful film.
Yeah, so I work with Film Mayo, which is an initiative of Mayo County Council's Arts Service, and we worked with Owen Houlihan, who's the locations manager. So we've worked with him. We started working with him back in March 2020. So Owen and Martin McDonough would have come to Achill a few times to look at different locations, and in particular the Westport Balmullet Municipal District were very instrumental in terms of helping the filmmakers as well, and we're really, really proud. Like, Film Mayo is all about promoting film in Mayo, so if anyone is interested in making films, get in touch with us, and I think the whole world will know about Achill and about Mayo now after seeing the film.
This is a great feather in the cap for Film Mayo, isn't it, really? And of course there's been other films being made in the area, in the county here in the last while.
Yeah, but it was funny because in Achill there was two feature films being shot at the same time, the Banshees of Inisherin, and of course then there was My Sailor, My Love was being shot. So both at the same time. Achill was full, there was nowhere, not a bed spare, but it was out of season, so the locals were really happy to have people there. And I think, an awful lot goes to say for the welcome that the filmmakers got. And in Mayo we've a real can-do attitude, like we make things happen. So yeah, it's fantastic, and I think there'll be a lot more films coming along the line as well, hopefully.
Which is great for the county. Can I finally just ask you, you just watched the film now, and what's your own thoughts on it?
I think it's going to be a grower. I think I'm going to go home and think a lot about it. Martin McDonough is a stunning director and writer. Like, it's amazing. The dialogue was amazing. The locations were fantastic. Like, I want to re-watch the film and just watch it for the locations and see everything. But the acting, like, I think one actor topped the next actor, like, and I love the animals in it as well, and really touches dark subjects, but I think sometimes we have to look at them as well to understand where we've come from and where we're going to.
So a job well done.
Yeah, it's fantastic, and it was a lovely night. It's lovely to be able to celebrate it with other people and other filmmakers in the audience. Like, cinema is such an art of transportation and a way of us understanding who we are, so there's great power in it.
Michael Ring here. I never knew you were a movie buff.
Well, I just came to see this film. It was really enjoyable. I really enjoyed it. Great film, great for Achill, great for Mayo, great for tourism. What we need now is a good film studio in Mayo. and we'll have more films like this. No, it was fantastic acting, and have two great actors like that. But all the actors were very good in it. But it's great for tourism, and it's great for the country. That film will really a major success. People will be coming to see Achill, and they'll be coming to see it for the years ahead. And great, as somebody said here earlier tonight, great for our immigrants to see their own country. So many of them have travelled all over the world, not just in Philadelphia, all over the world, and just to see that, fantastic. Great night.
Colin, you know, always did.
Yeah, that's not true.
You're still bad, Dominic. Out.
You said back until April.
What do we know?
April.
Well, put that stick outside anyways, and don't be bothering the women.
There's women. There is women. And good ones.
Extraordinary, unbelievable. Like from start to finish, the film was just unbelievable. You know, at times the film was quiet, and the scenery in the background blended in so much with it. The quietness then of the sea, you'd hear the waves breaking, and just the whole way that the film was conducted from start to finish, it was unbelievable.
Now, of course, you're both a businessman and public representative on Achill Island, and you worked closely with the film crew when this was coming. It must have been a great buzz on the island, and what it means for the island.
Absolutely, it was a marvellous buzz. Like, the tourist season in Achill finishes usually around the end of September, it gets quieter, but this particular year when the film crowd around, we had 2 months that really just transformed the area. The amount of people that was around, the activity, the talk about it, and the excitement of the stars that was involved in it. You know, what it brought to the island was unbelievable. And that's nothing to what it's going to bring to the island in the years to come. Like, we've all heard about Ryan's daughter and all the talk that's still done about it. Well, the Banshee for Achill is just going to be unbelievable. You know, and the scenery that has been portrayed in that film, like, to think that Achill now is going out in Hollywood in bright lights. And for our diaspora, that we're so proud of, that comes and goes to Achill, for them to see that displayed on the big screens, and for the diaspora that left many years ago to be fit to pull out old photographs and show to the family to say, that's it, that's what you're looking at, that's the mountains, that's Kim Bay, that's Ashland. You know, it's just unbelievable, and there's no doubt about it. What it's going to do for Achill going forward is unbelievable. Like, we have a great infrastructure for tourism. We have our greenways, we have our walks, we have all our hospitality, we have the various different groups, including Achill Tourism, promoting it all the time along with Mayo County Council. So this is taking it up to another level. This is really going to take Achill up to where it belongs. Achill is the jewel in the crown in County Mayo, and it's going up to where it belongs.
Tom Kelly, editor of the Connacht Telegraph, local newspaper here. You've just watched the film. If you were doing a review, what would you give it?
I'd give it 8 or 9 out of 10. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I have a great love of Achill anyway. And it was spectacular to see the different places that you're familiar with, and it's been incorporated into, I have to say, a fascinating, captivating film. There's no question about that. I thought Colin Farrell was brilliant in it. The story, morbid at times, challenging to watch, but I have to say, I was hoping there'd be a happy ending, but unfortunately there wasn't. But I think the Irish public will understand that this is a portrayal of rural Ireland in a different way, in former times. It's sad in many respects. It delves into issues like mental health and loneliness and how that impacted on people going back to Civil War days. So I think it will resonate with Irish people. I can see people flocking to it, and they will really enjoy it. And well done to the people of Achill. They've really capitalised on this. It's great to meet so many here tonight.
Here, look, you're very welcome to Movie World here in Castlebar. Are you a fan of the movies?
Well, you know, I am in one sense, but I never thought I'd be in this situation as Cathaoirleach of Mayo County Council. But it's a great occasion, and I'm delighted to be here. I've been asked to say a few words at the beginning here to welcome the people on behalf of Mayo. So it's a great occasion, and it's very special, and I'm delighted to be here.
And it's been a great year for films here, filmmaking here in the county, and indeed you had an interest in another movie that's been made here as well at the moment.
That's right, Henry. It's a fantastic year. It's great for Achill, this particular night for Achill, but I was involved myself with another crew there a few weeks ago. A relation of mine, the producer and the director, they were involved with me, and I met them a few years ago, and they did a film here in Westport and Knock, and it's going to be out in 2014. 24. So it's going to be a big occasion. And hopefully we'll have an occasion like this maybe in a year's time. It'd be great to have it.
Great. Well, are you looking forward to watching the film tonight?
I am, yeah. I'm just looking forward to it. And by the way, I met Colin a few years ago. I met him. We were on a trip. We're at Formula One, and would you believe about 20 years ago I met him, and with a few pints together actually. I don't know if you remember or not. It was in a place called Louvre in Italy. So it was but anyway, it was okay. But this is a great night, and hopefully everything goes well as well. And the film, I hope it's successful. And well done to Mayo as well, Mayo.ie and all that to support.
Would you not want him to have to do the one finger to see if he was bluffing, like?
No, we wouldn't.
Because worst comes to worst, he can still play the fiddle with 4 fingers, I bet ya.
Going back to your own gang now, Pádraig.
And talking to me, are you?
Why aren't you talking to Pádraig no more?
That wouldn't be a sin now, would it, Father?
No, but it's not very nice either, is it?
Do you know who we remember for how nice they was in the 17th century?
Who?
Absolutely no one. Yet we all remember the music of the time. Everyone to a man knows Mozart's name.
I don't, so there goes that theory.
Can't be waiting around for any more of this madness.
I thought it was fabulous. I thought it was a very good movie, and I thought it showcased Achill and Inishmore in a very good light. I think it will benefit Achill immensely, and I hope everybody goes out to see and watch the movie.
Do you think it'll attract a lot of people to Achill?
Oh, absolutely it will. The scenery was stunning, and the cinematography was absolutely fabulous, and I've no doubt it will, Henry.
It's very Martin McDonagh, anyhow. Very dark, little bit depressing, but a lot of things to think about. And he looks at life a different way. But I'd rather the song and dance bit. There was a lot of dark humour in it.
But you enjoyed it?
But I enjoyed it. Really.
And would you recommend it?
I would, yes. It's worth looking at and looking at again.
Can I ask you your thoughts on the film tonight?
Fantastic, loved it. I love his work. I think he's an incredible director, an incredible writer, and combined with incredible talent and an incredible location, which is Achill, he's got a hit on his hands, I think. Yeah, it's quite dark, it's different, but it's more reminiscent of his plays, I feel, than it is of his movies. It feels like he's taken a small one of his plays and put it onto the big screen. That's how it feels to me. Yeah.
Excellent, really enjoyed it. Very different, completely different.
Is it what you expected?
No, it was dark and got you thinking, and really enjoyed it. Different, yeah.
Good, yeah.
I thought it was very good for tourism in Ireland. It's bring a lot of people.
Yeah.
The scenery is fantastic.
And the play itself?
The play itself was very interesting, very good. Just wondering what would happen all along.
It was amazing, really amazing, yeah.
What stood out for you?
Well, it's so bleak and yet it's humorous, you know, and the story just grips you, and then the whole Achill looks magnificent in it. Yeah, definitely.
It'll make you want to go to Achill?
Definitely want to go to Achill. Yeah, beautiful, really beautiful, yeah.
Well done to everybody involved in the movie. Well, the scenery alone in the film will undoubtedly attract thousands of extra visitors to Mayo, and in particular to Achill Island in the coming years. Well, that's it for this week. We look forward to your company next week at the same time. So until then, slán go fóill.